Have you ever tried to run a car with almost no gas in it and the tank is almost empty and it sputters and it's jerking and eventually it just stalls, right? That's exactly how your body and your brain feel when you're low in this mineral. And every system starts struggling to keep up. You might be diagnosed with anything from a heart arrhythmia, anxiety disorder, muscle cramps, hormone imbalance, and you might get a prescription for any or all of these when it turns out to just be a deficiency in magnesium. It is a worldwide problem right now. And I'm going to tell you some of the classic symptoms so that you can recognize it in yourself and discuss why we have this problem and explain to you what you need to do to fix it. Okay, so classic low magnesium are things like muscle cramps and spasms. So you might get cramps at night, especially, and things like restless leg can be very closely related, or you might get a lot of muscle soreness after exercise, maybe a little more than normal, take a little longer to recover than other people. You could feel some heart palpitations, and that might you might feel like a skipped rhythm and be diagnosed with a heart arrhythmia. Can't tell you how many patients that I've had that have been diagnosed with an arrhythmia that started taking magnesium and maybe even coenzyme Q10, which I'll talk about another time, and completely reverse the condition. You may have difficulty staying asleep and wake up a lot during the night. That could be related to magnesium deficiency. Headaches, things like, especially migraines. Migraines seem to be very much related to magnesium, and migraines are often multifactorial. They may not just be related only to magnesium. It could be magnesium, and a lot of times with women, especially, have a deficiency in progesterone. I myself was one of those that suffered all my life until with magnesium issues and misdiagnosed. And at that time, when I had them, wasn't a lot of good medications for. You just suffered through it basically, and I'd be out for the count for a day or two every single month because I was low on progesterone and magnesium. You might also, oh, and the other one is anxiety. So I had a lot of anxiety during that time as well. That was related to both of those things. Irritability and low mood, very connected to magnesium deficiency. And how about those twitching eyelids? A lot of people complain about that, and they can go to the doctor. They really just have no idea what to do with it and basically say it'll go away. And it took it took a long time for mine to go away. One of the reasons why that happens a lot, especially in students, is the caffeine. Drinking a lot of coffee and caffeinated beverages can definitely lead to that muscle twitching because it depletes the magnesium. It's not really the caffeine itself, it's more that it's depleting your minerals. And the other one is feeling wired but tired. So your brain, and you feel like you want to do something, but you don't have the energy to do it. Okay, so these symptoms often show up slowly over time because when you're depleted, it doesn't happen overnight. It happens over a period of time. And one of the reasons that this happens is that it related a lot to the depletion in our food supply. So for one, you have your processed foods, so that's a problem. Two, it's the soil is depleted. So there's a 20 to 30% depletion of magnesium in our soil. So no matter how good your diet is, you may still become chronically low. It is good to still use food in addition to supplements, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But the other thing is, how else does that happen? There are a number of medications. This is becoming a popular topic in holistic medicine. Medications that cause nutrient depletion. And then you get diagnosed with all these conditions, like I mentioned, with heart problems, with sleep issues, with the migraines. And you're taking medications for one thing that are depleting the magnesium and possibly other things that are causing these other issues. So they're actually caused by the medications. And one very popular one that I've seen a lot in my practice is proton pump inhibitors. So that's the stuff like Prilosec or Nexium. They were not designed to be used every day forever. And I have rarely found anyone who was told by their doctor to take it for 2 or 3 weeks and stop. They are, oh no, you got to stay on that. That's fixing your problem with GERD or whatever it is, digestive wise, that you're taking it for. There are other ways of handling those issues, and you need to see a holistic doctor to find another way so that you're not taking these proton pump inhibitors for lengthy periods of time and causing these depletions. It's really just not healthy. The other thing is, I mentioned, is drinking a lot of coffee. Coffee and alcohol both are causes of depletion of our magnesium. So those are some of the reasons why we're low. There are also some medical conditions, things that cause a depletion of not only magnesium, but other things. So things like chronic diarrhea. So that makes sense. Most people can understand that because you're not excreting properly and you're drawing fluids and excreting more than you should be through the diarrhea. Crohn's disease is another one that chronically cause depletion of our magnesium. What can you do when you have some of these symptoms and you want to increase the magnesium in your body? So there are your nuts and seeds, especially like pumpkin seed is really high. Almonds is a really good one. Those are two good sources. Dark chocolate. Don't overdo the dark chocolate thinking it's great for your magnesium, because then you'll overdo the sugar. We don't want to, like I said, replace one problem with another. Leafy greens. Spinach is very high. Now, of course, spinach is one of the ones that a lot of the minerals are lower than they were 50 years ago, when, like, iron is another one. When I was young, everyone was talking about Popeye, strong, you have energy and muscle strength from eating spinach. But the fact is that a lot of our soils are so depleted that we're not getting the same amount that we used to. So we really do need to supplement. What are some good sources to supplement? Now, I did a whole video about this, and I will point this video to that, but I'm going to give you some basic understanding. There are different kinds of magnesiums. You have your magnesium element, and it's connected to something that comes into the body through food or through supplementation. When you go to the store, you have to actually read the label on this one, because magnesium oxide, which is where a lot of companies are using that, it's less expensive, but it also is a very low absorbable form, and it has a tendency to cause diarrhea. So that's not a good thing. It's really better for someone who is constipated and wants a little help along the way for short periods of time. So that's your magnesium oxide and your magnesium citrate are both good for that. And a lot of people that are on opiates for pain relief and not for pain relief take magnesium citrate to just go to the bathroom normally, to try to go to the bathroom, because that helps to draw fluids and waste out of our body. But when you want to relax the muscles and your blood vessels, magnesium glycinate is kind of does a little bit of everything. And that one is very good also for sleep. I take that one at night, a couple of them. You'll need to experiment. Sometimes it says take 3 or 4. If I took that many, it would be too much for me. So you'll have to say, but don't take more than it says, but see how much you need. That one is gentle, and I do recommend that. Now, magnesium L-threonate, they have found, goes through your blood-brain barrier and it supports memory and focus. So that one is actually better to take during the day and support our cognitive function. Magnesium taurate take during the day because that one is for blood pressure regulation. So let's say you have a blood pressure issue and your doctor's having a really hard time balancing that. And I've had patients be on 3, 4 meds. Oh, my doctor can't control my blood pressure. Well, it's probably because you are magnesium deficient. And that is almost diagnostic of it. Doesn't mean that magnesium is going to cure the blood pressure. I'm not saying that, so don't expect that. But if you can only be on one, maximum two medications, that's going to be much better for you than 3 or 4, right? Magnesium malate is really good for energy and for muscle pain and sugar balance. Malic acid helps your mitochondria produce energy. So that's really good. So magnesium is one of kind of the unusual mineral where taking the right kind does make a difference. So if you're feeling overwhelmed and you don't know which one to take, I do recommend there are some new combination formulas that have multiple ones in it, and that can be very helpful. They tend to be more pricey because some of these other forms do cost a little more, but that really solves the problem of trying to figure out which one should I take. So if you have some of these unexplained symptoms like heart flutters or feel like a heart skips a beat and you're getting diagnosed with an arrhythmia or blood pressure issues, headaches, all the things that I talked about, anxiety, start supplementing with magnesium. It isn't really something that's going to hurt you if you start taking it and you don't need it. But pretty much if you have those symptoms, you can kind of expect that you need to take more magnesium. If you would like to learn more about how to balance your hormones and deficiencies naturally and holistically, I highly recommend that you join my Conscious Aging School. And in there, I have a 12-week anti-aging program that comes with entering the school. There's also free coaching on the calendar, so you can check for that. And if you've never been on school, it's really pretty fantastic and amazing. You just get so much out of it and learn things that you never would before. You get notified of all the posts that I put on there that has all this incredible information, as well as being able to access the course. I enjoy talking to you today, and I hope that you tune in and join the school and join my YouTube channel, and I will talk to you soon.